Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over 3 different ways that you can start budgeting for yourself. I have realized that everyone has a different style of budgeting, so I don't want to just limit my videos to just cash envelope stuffing. I want to show you guys that there's more that you can do for your budget if cash envelopes are not your thing. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is Google Sheets. So Google Sheets is a totally free application. It's associated with Gmail, so if you have a Gmail account, you can totally access it. So one thing that I really like about Google Sheets is that you're able to access all your information anywhere, as long as there's internet, obviously, but you're able to access it anywhere you want, and you can make as many tabs, and it's not cluttered because you have everything in one place. So that's one thing that I really like about using Google Sheets. So basically what I do is after I write everything on paper, I go ahead and just put it on a Google Sheet so that if I want to access it and I don't have access to my notebook that I have all my budgeting in, that I can just go online and see where my money's at, and if I want to change anything, I can just go do that online. So that's one thing that I really like about it. One thing that I don't really like about Google Sheets is that it doesn't allow you to be accountable. So it's not gonna stop you from overspending. So you can make a budget in the beginning of the month or when you get paid, but what's to say that you're not going to overspend if you just swipe your credit card or your debit card? So that's the only con I would say, unless you are someone that manually and meticulously tracks what you're spending your money on, then I guess it would work for you. But again, it's not going to stop you from swiping your card if you see something nice or if you need to get something from the store. So that's kind of why I don't really care for it. But I would say with Google Sheets, I personally use it, but I use it in conjunction with another way of budgeting that I'm going to be mentioning, is that it's a great alternative for those who don't really care for using cash. So people that don't want to be taking their little cash envelopes and don't have wallets that big, you can take this app anywhere because it's attached to your phone, and you just put in your bank information and it tracks your spending. It'll tell you and it'll send you a notification if you are overspending on a particular category. So it will send you a notification, which is great. What I really like about it, because it's from the Dave Ramsey franchise, it has sinking funds in there for you that you can go ahead and plan out how much money you're going to be putting in every month, and it's going to be doing it automatically for you. So that's one thing that I really like about it. A couple cons about this budgeting app in particular is that you have to pay in order for it to track your spending. So it's free for you to put your money, it's free for you to put your information in to track your budget, but if you don't pay for the premium service, then it's going to go ahead and not track your spending. So if you want to be spending, I think it's $99 for the year. If you're someone that doesn't like cash, I think it's worth it because it tracks it for you. And another thing that it does, it reminds you of your bills. So if you have bills coming up, it's going to go ahead and send you that quick reminder to pay your bills. So that's one thing that I also really love about it. The only thing is if you're willing to spend the money on it and if you think it's worth it, I would say definitely use that. But someone like me that doesn't like to spend money, it just wasn't for me. One more thing that I don't really care for with this app, for me personally, is that if someone sends me a notification, usually my phone's on do not disturb, so if I get a notification that I'm overspending on something, like I'm probably not even going to get to it until hours later. So that's kind of where I don't really like. And also it tells you that you're overspending after you've already overspent, so it's like you're overspending either way, if that makes sense. So that's kind of why I don't really care for the app that much. So the last one I wanted to talk about really quick is the good old pen and paper and cash. So that's my favorite one to use. I've been using it for 2 years. Basically what I do, every time I get paid, I go ahead and write down all of my expenses, and I figure out how much cash I need. I go to the bank, I ask them for that specific amount of cash, just stuff them in my cash envelope. So just to show you guys really quick, this is the little booklet that I use. I'll go ahead and link it down below. I love it. This is for my sinking funds, and then for my funds that I just use like for expenses, I put them in my wallet. So one thing that I really like about doing cash is because once the cash is gone, like it's gone. So the first couple of months that I started picking up on my budget, I would only take cash places. I would not take my debit card. I wouldn't take my credit card. None of that, because I knew at that point that I didn't have the behaviors to stop myself from just taking out my credit card and my debit card and just swiping. So when you're starting out, I would highly suggest just taking cash with you, being very intentional about what you're spending your money on. And it's easier, in my opinion, to track because I have budgeted $50 for groceries, and that's all I have. And I can't go back and start swiping my card, especially if I don't take my card places. Now I have the mental capacity, I guess, to just not spend the money on my debit card when I take it with me. But before I didn't, so that's why I use cash. And I still think that cash is way better. I still feel inclined sometimes to spend my money on my debit card. Oh, it's like, oh, it's, I'm overspending by $5, not a big deal. But honestly, that stuff adds up. So I would highly suggest starting off with cash first. But like I was mentioning before, I use cash and the I guess paper method in conjunction with the Google Sheets, but that's just for me to keep everything on track. And if I want to just look at something really quick, I can just get on the internet and just kind of find that. So a couple cons is that cash is dirty, 1. 2, you have to actually physically go to the bank and ask for these specific dividends, unless you're using like 20s and like hundreds if you go to the ATM, but usually that's not the case. So you have to actually go to the bank to do that. So sometimes I don't have time to do it the day I get paid, so I have to go the next day, and then everything kind of gets pushed back a day. So that's one thing that I don't like. Okay, another con that I would say about using cash is that it can easily be lost or stolen. So if you're walking around and you accidentally, drop a $5 bill, like that's gone, and that's it, But if you lose your debit card, for example, you can just turn it off, go get a new one. You don't lose any money, it's fine. So cash that's lost is lost. Another thing I would say is security. So this notebook, I keep it in a little lockbox in my apartment. So if someone were to break in, which is highly unlikely, I have that secure. So if you're going to do cash, make sure you have your money with you at all times, and make sure you're keeping things in a safe place. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you like this video and you like this content, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.